Indigenous people have been doing ceramics for generations, you know, and they say, oh, you can't paint ceramics, you can't put spray paint, and it's like, what do you think they were painting with before? Kia ora, my name's Stevie Houkāmau, born and raised in Cannons Creek, Porou, and Whakapapa to Wharekahika on the east coast, and Te Whanau-a-Apanui. I am a Māori clay artist, but I like to call myself a uku artist. Delving into not uku but clay or ceramics was in the States. I went to university and I was doing a graphic design degree, and one of the courses we had to do was pottery, but I wagged every class. And then I told the tutor a lie so that I could pass the class. Because I just couldn't connect to it, because you had to make like bowls and, you know, everything looked like ashtrays, you know, and so yeah, and then when I went to Toiho and then heard that there was a wānanga, I was like, oh yeah, turned up a couple of days late because I was at my cousin's 21st. Had that kind of attitude of, oh, here we go, make some more ashtrays. But it wasn't like that, and what it was is I watched Manos, Nathan, carve a line into clay, and I was just like, I want to do that. My biggest theme is based around Whakapapa. It's something that I've been kind of evolving over the last 3 years and kind of deconstructing how we see Whakapapa. Growing up, we were brought up as Pacific Islanders of Māori descent. So you're always, you know, a big influence of that. It's like layered on top of each other, but also that whole kinship, you know, with the Pacific and challenging our own ideas about where we come from, who we are, but then using clay to reimagine them. So it's not like, oh, I'm remaking what's from the past. It's like, oh, I'm reimagining them in different materials, make them bougie, and you know. Yeah, it's a challenge also, being a Māori woman. Being a Māori woman that wants to break ceilings. I think we're women, especially Māori women, are disproportionately represented in that, especially in Wellington. Having to kind of break out of some of those old colonised traditions that we have. I'm a bit older than a lot of people that are in the same stage of their career, so I'm a bit more opinionated. But I'm also a believer that you make way and you set paths so that the next generation that come through, it's easier for them. Yeah, and I think that that's a big role for us at Generation Z. Yeah. Like I feel like I have small goals and work towards, but really I just want to be able to make a living, do what I love. Also take my work and like using clay to be the beginning, but not necessarily the end product as well. So, for example, using technology to take my work, like scan it and take it, put it in other places, use other materials, metal castings, looking at glass, but also looking at, you know, 3D stuff, so like getting it scanned. And, you know, because the thing that you could do too is actually scan something, and I always think about, you could manipulate the shape of it, then print it and then get it casted into another material. So I'm a huge believer that you take whatever skill sets and that you have, and you just use that to get out what you want, you know, like a masking off a car to paint it and stuff. Like I spray paint my clay, I don't glaze, I don't like glazes, and that also is expensive. I just want to make my whānau proud, and I want to tell our stories, and I want to break those boundaries down within ceramics, that, you know, the way that we work and how we do our art form is just as good as someone that uses glaze. Indigenous people have been doing ceramics for generations, you know, and they say, oh, you can't paint ceramics, you can't put spray paint, and it's like, what do you think they were painting with before, you know, and stuff. And so, and they see us unrefined, you know, our ceramics, or, you know, how we because for me, or the way I was taught was that you teach clay to be accessible for our people. So you find all your tools in your house, in your kitchen, get a bowl, get a knife, get an old tea towel that you can rip up, you know, and if you have to, dig a hole in the ground and light a fire. You know, like, how can we bring that back for our people? Yeah, so. But, you know, another barrier, time. Don't have any time. We've got all the ideas in the world, but, you know, yeah, time is a big factor because, you know, you've still got to, if you're not a funding-based artist, then a lot of your time is taken up actually trying to make a living so that you can then go and do those other types of projects. Yeah, so follow your dream. Doesn't matter how old you are when you start it. Yeah.